Okay, welcome everyone. We'll be waiting a few minutes as always to get everybody a chance to connect and configure everything. As well for me to set up everything. Hello, once again. Hello, everybody. Just waiting a few more minutes. Give everybody a chance to join in. Set up everything and get ready. In the meantime, I'll enjoy some hot chocolate. Purpose of the local hotel. So just a regular reminder of how this works. Sadly today, Adrian won't be able to join us because of a emergency appointment that he had to make. So I'll be going over our meeting agenda as it comes. If you have any question, feel free to use the raise the hand function in Zoom. And I'll be happy to give you a word or wait for you to type in your question or comment, and we can discuss it as it goes. And we already had a first question, so as we wait for a few more people joining in, I'll answer your question. How is Japan? Japan is great. I'll be leaving Japan sadly in about a week and a half, but I already am super excited to come back to Japan at the earliest opportunity. So we still have somebody is trying to connect, so I'm just giving them 1 more minute to join in. And then we'll get started no matter what, because in this hotel I have like 1 hour to get free ramen, so which I want to get. So hopefully it won't take too long. And Daniel and Sebastian already had said that they'll be talking more about Blaze, so that's fine. And just a reminder for everybody, this is about Meteor Community Packages, and there's also Blaze as well. So I'll have to cut any off-topic discussion because at the end of the day, it's not something that we can really enforce here. All right, so with that all set, just a reminder, feel free to type in questions. I'll try to monitor chat as much as possible. And or you can use the Zoom function, raise the hand, to be allowed to talk. So with that said, let me just do a quick check on our organizational repository if there's anything new to attach to talk about. So no changes there. As of right now, we are not accepting any new projects, so nothing to add on that topic. And we are actually in the process of potentially getting the simple schema Meteor package back into operation. So that's something that Jan is looking into, and that's ongoing. So when it comes to releases, let's do a quick screen share, which hopefully will not make things for me. So, all right, quick screen share. So first things first, we have collection hooks version 1.2.1, which is just the revert of change in default behavior. So that's something that's should be avoided. So we have that patch to revert the default behavior in the docs. So that's one release that we had. And then we have a new version of Meteor Mocha feature version, which is version 2.1, which reruns tests on browser refresh. And we have 2 PRs that we're kind of working towards that, and updated dev dependencies, which is always nice. So those are the two big, or I could say 2 main releases that we had. And we have then a lot of other smaller things that are kind of working up their way to new releases. In particular, Meteor Desktop had a little bit of work in that direction, so hopefully we can get that one out soon. So that's that, and I think next will be big topic, which is Blaze, and it's with the main thing with that is async await migration. So I guess Daniel and Sebastian, I'll give you the option to talk. So whenever you are ready.
Hello.
Hello.
Sebastian, are you also there? Did you? Hi. Oh, so just like at work now. I'm talking with Sebastian. Anyway, yeah, thank you very much for having us, Jan. And Sebastian, should I introduce or you? So because
yes. So go ahead, introduce yourself, and then you can go ahead and talk how things are progressing with Blaze.
Okay, to introduce ourselves, yeah. So we are 2 software developers working on a bigger project, which is pretty much under the radar. So it's not a well-known project in the community, but it's pretty big. It's a mobile app, and we have a few 100,000 lines of code in Meteor, and including Blaze, and using Blaze patterns a lot there. And so, of course, this is it's important to us, like, because basically a migration to React would be like a super complex rewrite for us. And I'm like we are doing Meteor also for other projects for many years now, so we kind of like experienced, we know the system, but I'm a little bit old school with the Blaze, and I really like it, and I think it works really well with the reactivity, especially, which I'm not super sure if you can really replicate it with React these days. This is the question, because I don't have a clue. But this full stack reactivity through helpers and chaining in the templates, this is one question. Maybe if somebody knows something about that, if it's even possible. Anyhow, and what happened is that we planned now in the spring of this new year to check into the async await migration, and we were thinking that the community and Meteor company is probably pretty far ahead already, and now we can have a look at like putting some awaits around our database calls or whatever. But to our great despair, Blaze is basically not at all asynchronously usable with any asynchronous data source, if I get that correct, if we have understood that correct. Basically, Blaze, as it currently is, is almost impossible to use, I think, with the new async await, because async basically eats up all the code, calling it, of course. So if you have your database there, if you make any helpers asynchronous, any code asynchronous, and has to be any asynchronous, if it ends up in the client, then all your helpers will be have to be async somehow. So it eats up, I think. And so basically, I think as it is right now, Blaze is pretty much unusable in the future, except you write everything new with a different kind of pattern. Is that wrong or right? Or what do the other guys think maybe in the channel?
Yeah, that's kind of a sad that Blaze didn't get as much love as it deserves.
Yeah.
As you can see on the screen right now, I have all the
Yes. Mm-hmm.
pull requests that we have been working on or that have been added, and it's kind of split right now into we have cores or types being added in Blaze 2.6.2 or 2.7, depending on what's going to come out of that, together with any potential fixes or bug fixes that will come out. But then, as you can see, with the project tags, most of it is focused on releasing 3.0. And first things kind of first is to really, modernize Blaze, because it's a very old code base. So one of it is to move it into ES6 version. There are some people who have been talking about completely migrating it to TypeScript, but even that, the problem with this PR is that it's freaking huge. So it's very difficult to see what has changed. So it's in the process, and the next phase after that is getting the async await and all that related stuff working. We also are expecting that the Meteor team is also going to come in and help us out once they finish all the work on the core in this migration. So there's yes, it's also part of expectation. It's we are the work is interconnected there. So with this add types to core, that's something that came from the Meteor repository. If you actually look into the Meteor repository itself, there's actually a link to the Blaze. Let's see.
I think the split to the community was unfortunate, probably.
Yes.
But I remember back then that I don't know, it was kind of a thing. But I think this is a really, just to make it clear, this is basically a showstopper, right? Like if you have Blaze as it is, you can migrate your database parts to async. This is no problem. But with Blaze, pretty much you can't do a lot anymore, right? And when is the migration to be supposed to happen? Like the next, when is node, what is it, 14? Or what is it?
We are looking at the next 2 months when we need to get this done. So
this is basically, to me, it's like a major showstopper right now, right?
Yes.
And
the thing is, I am here, when it comes to Blaze, since I'm no longer using Blaze, I am here just as a support when it comes to reviewing code, merging things, doing some low-level testing. So it's really Jan Kuster, and I think I just had when Sebastian, you were mentioned as well that you might have some input as well. So I'm there as support. I'll help with all the necessary processes, so anybody else who comes in can focus on working on the code.
I talked to Jan. And I don't know if he's there now. I don't.
No, he had emergency, I think.
Okay. Yes. So I hope he's well. Because he told me, yes, he has this. He's now responsible for Blaze now, or he takes over the store to solve some issues there. And he said to me, there you, as you said, as you told me, Jan. that there are things working with ES6 updates which are coming, and he wanted to do last weekend. He wanted to merge everything, but I think he had some things else to do. To bring it to a 2.6.2 version. So I can build upon this version, or I can take because I had a closer look at the core and I've worked a bit through because I wanted to try out if I could work around this asynchronicity regarding everything like helpers, asynchronous helpers that promises resolve directly in the on the page, that you don't get the stringified promise object on the page, but that you get a resolved promise, that you get the resolved value of the promise on the page, for example, or that you can concatenate promises. That was the goal I worked on. So I started to try out things there that it helps us that we can use Blaze as usual without any further logic like in Svelte or so. Like another community member wrote, he had an idea like doing it like Svelte with asynchronicity, with promises in the handle async code issue on Meteor Blaze GitHub. And yes, so I tried some things there, and I would even go now further, because now in our team we said, hello, let's do something for the community. And
yeah, so
yeah.
can I
Yes, you can. Yeah.
To wrap up, like basically our idea is like we don't have to asynchify whole Blaze functions and everything. Basically, we don't need that currently. Actually, maybe we don't need it at all. For it to work, as for community to work, it would be probably enough. Right now, as you know, in Blaze, if a variable results to a function, it gets called automatically, right?
Yes.
And the result is used in the next step, and we could just try to await if it's a check, if it's a promise which returns, and then await it and trigger create some auto run or something. So we can keep the simplicity of Blaze. So we use async helpers if we need to, because maybe the database call is going to be asynchronized and so on. And we think this could be a nice hack and a workaround. And we probably don't even need ES6 or whatever for that. Just a quick sanity check. Does it sound like a good idea? Like if you would have helpers and data context and the resolution of the multiple dotted things in the templates, if you could do this to await for the promises somehow, wouldn't that be a good first step maybe? Or a possibility? What do you think, guys? Is it?
Yeah, so if you have guys any say opinion on this, please type it in the chat so we can get the feedback. Personally for me, since we already have the ES6 pull request there, I think that's the first target to merge because of the impact it's going to have.
This is basically mutually doesn't matter. Basically, like I think this is a large merge with, and our thing would be like a few functions updated with like checking for results, adding some tracking. I think it's easy to merge. Ours would be just a patch probably, right? So this is we can do it in parallel basically. The question is if it works. So we're working on a prototype there basically, and this is just what we would like to do. Just so you know. This is all we wanted to say, and we have to get in touch with Blaze, with Jan, and see who's responsible, and maybe also with the Meteor guys, because this also the front end part relies heavily on the collections and so on, and how it will be handled and whatever.
Yes, we especially need to be in touch with the Meteor guys and in regards to the release process, because that still goes through the old Meteor release pipeline. Even though it's been, we need somebody from their team to okay that release. We'll have to check. Maybe I might have the access, but I will have to check on that. So that's kind of that's kind of how we want to do it. And I want to, and this is my personal kind of, you could say ambition. I would like to release like a beta version or something with at least most of the PRs merge into version 3 of Blaze as soon as possible. And this one would target still the current version of Meteor. And then, this is like another question that we have to look into. Do we want to Blaze 3 to target Meteor 3 as the main version, or do we want to also have kind of this backward compatibility as we had with have with Meteor 2.8, and like that? So that is another thing that we'll probably have to have a supplemental meeting this month to decide on as well, or maybe just do it in the discussions.
But basically for me, like Blaze, I don't actually understand like how can asynchronifying Blaze, what would it look like? Like if you don't want to have that in the template, basically, like what does it even do, right? What does it even mean? Like I don't even get it actually, you know?
Yes, and this is sadly not the well, this is
like
just not
yeah,
this is exactly this is the design question. So I cannot give you answer, and cannot sanction further discussion on this, because then we could be here for hours discussing that. So
you got my email too, right? And Sebastian, you got in touch if there's a meeting, if there's anything interesting happening. If you want, please keep us in the loop, and we'll try to do something. We got a big app, so it's good for testing, right? So we have a big app. We can throw in the testing version easily and to see if anything breaks. We got lots of different years of Blaze templates in there. So we got a test case at least, and maybe we can have some refactoring.
And this is let me just double check if we have okay, we have a issue that Jan has started. It's the 364. Let me put it, guys, in the link in the chat. And I think that one starts kind of the discussion. So I would like, everybody involved with this. This is like one of the many discussions there about, async await and all that stuff.
Yeah, we are on it. We're on it.
So that's just a reminder, to watch these discussion, and I'm sure once, especially going on later on in February, we'll be getting more and more, say, focus and speed on Blaze and everything that follows from that, which is also more of a topic for the next point. But I just want to also open it if anybody else has anything else to add in regards to Blaze, or wants to talk, especially when it comes to organization or what to focus on, or along those lines. Okay, I'll just give a little bit more time for anybody there.
Maybe
typing.
Maybe I'll do a forum post also to make this more maybe into a community thing again, like, because I'm not sure if it's clear on that. It's actually like their stuff is gonna break in 2 months if this is not solved, right? I think
yes. Well, if they upgrade to Meteor 3, then that's going to break. So that's actually a good idea. So if you can start on that, and if you can that would be awesome. Thank you very much.
Yes.
And awesome. So any other suggestion how to get more attention? Obviously, once you get the forum post going with the resources and everything, then we'll blast it on the social media and all the communication platforms.
Nice.
So we kind of need to make sure that there is no escape, because it's kind of like an ongoing problem, not just for Meteor, but also like in a lot of other general, or like in general with developers that oftentimes, you just have a focus on developing your app, and then You might get surprised that suddenly it doesn't work because you weren't paying attention to the main development.
Yeah.
So we need to make sure that everybody knows that we
Yes.
get more eyes and more people looking into it. Okay,
Yeah.
since I don't see any more questions in the chat, I will move on to the next topic. Thank you, Sebastian and Daniel, for your input. And the next topic I will touch only lightly because it's the async await or say the fibers migration that's happening. Not really much of a update to add to this. I kind of went through multiple packages. Actually, I went through all of the packages that we have under us. Thankfully, some of them won't require any changes, or at least not right now. And the rest, especially when it comes to collection, all the different hooks, that's going to be quite a hefty one. So the priority right now is collection 2, because that's probably the biggest one that we have going for us, followed by roles package. Those two will get the most attention and work, and the idea is to establish the patterns and then implement those patterns on our packages so that the transition goes more smoothly. I am returning from Japan on February 15th, so I'll be probably getting more onto this the week after that, once my jet lag passes. So towards the second half of, pretty much the last week and a half of February is when this will really get more of a form and we'll start moving. And I would like again to call out to anybody who is interested in helping in this or has a stake in those packages, especially the smaller ones, to step up. And now is the time to step up and help with this because I have also companies to run, so I will be also busy elsewhere as well. Now, on to the next point, which is about community website and meetups. As was mentioned last month, this current website will be ending due to the entire service being closed down. So I actually already started a little bit locally working on the new community website, which is all kind of going to use, I have a domain MeteorJS.community, which we'll be using for that, which is also going to include the meetups as well. And eventually the idea is to kind of centralize all of the community activity, or at least most of it there. So it's like a crossroad where you can find who is who, what's happening, and hopefully this meetup as well. So there are challenges, but I think we can overcome them. So also connected to that, link in the agenda, we have a new YouTube channel, MeteorJS Community. We are repurposing, thanks to Alim, the old Meteor New York channel, which you can see some old, you can see there actually the previous two meetups that we had there uploaded there, and then we have some old conference footage, and I will be going through anything else that remains on meetups and impact websites that hasn't been uploaded and uploading it there or whenever appropriate. And if you have any other community-related content that you think that could go there, just let me know and I'll be happy to look into that. So, and that kind of brings me for to-dos for the month, which is, get Blaze 3.0 release started and work on that. So that's one big to-do. Second is to progress on fibers migration on collection 2 and related to that simple schema and roles package. And also finally, when it comes to packages, to release anything else that needs to be released so that can merge as much as possible so that we have a clean slate for the migration, which we really have to finish next month because end of April is kind of our deadline. And finally is to also, and that this is a must, by the end of the month, we have to get our own or new community website. So all of that will have to be done by the end of the month. So that will be the community website will be my main focus out of all of these, and the rest I'll be mostly helping, organizing, and adjusting on that. So, and that kind of comes to our open forum. We have a question from Ming. Which Meteor version will run without fibers? That will be a Meteor version 3. You can already see the dev has started on that couple of weeks ago, or was it end of last month, I believe. So you can already see right now it's still not there yet because there's a lot of hurdles to overcome, and as you can imagine, it's quite a big thing because fibers touch every part of Meteor. So I would highly recommend everybody to follow it very closely, look onto the migration guides, start trying out the async await pattern in your packages and applications as much as possible, kind of migrate towards that, because then once Meteor 3 hits, if you have that already established with everything, then it will be much more easier to migrate the remaining parts that need to be migrated. If you look onto from Meteor 2.8, there is always a few questions, or sorry, not few questions, few API endpoints that get migrated to or get like await async version. So you should always try to migrate as many of them as possible to get kind of ready for the big one. Also, with as you go from 2.8, 2.9, 2.10, and soon hopefully 2.11, you can migrate smaller parts one step at a time, so it's not like a huge mess where you have no other choice than to migrate at Meteor 3. So Daniel, you have a question, so for React, so if you can unmute yourself and ask that, unless you're typing it.
Yeah, like Thomas also have a question with the Blaze. Maybe we can talk about it together or later. Or like it's basically the same thing we noticed probably. Like, but it's the second question. Like, maybe it's all connected today because all Blaze. Even if maybe you can look at this first, maybe can help him quickly. All right. Even if it migrated our server-side code, we cannot update to 3.0. If I understood well, right? Now I'm not sure. Like, if you only actually you have to update your client-side code if you want to. If the collection's gonna be async as well in the client, then you have to wait them too. And what do you then with the helpers?
Yes.
Where you use the data, right?
To this, it really depends on the particular API. Some of the API endpoints, you don't have to do anything. It's all handled internally. Some of them, like with method calls, there's actually right now a big ongoing discussion about Meteor.call and call async. So check out the Meteor repository. I think this was also posted on the Slack and on the forums. There's a discussion because they discovered some issues that they so far have not been able to overcome. So at this stage, it's very important for you to be involved because this is going to be big one. And as I said, once Meteor 3.0 hits, I think once the beta starts, I think if you can, I would highly recommend at least to have like, a branch in your app that upgrades to the latest beta so that you can test the things and see what you are still missing in that migration test, what things don't work, that you can get feedback. And that's especially important for the team to move forward on that.
Like, okay, like, can I, okay, so because my question, thank you. I'm gonna, Thomas says thank you to you probably as well.
Yes.
So I just want, like, because you're like, people are using React, right? Like but the problem is, like, when I started with Meteor, actually React didn't exist, I think, or maybe it was just a very, very small, simple thing. Like how we use Blaze is like, we have like a controller or like a template JavaScript, right? And then we have some data context or some helpers. And then in the template, I do lots of dotted getter calling. For example, I say get my user, then dot get is whatever, account information, and then dot XYZ, right? And all of these are like reactive calls, calls to reactive helpers I chain together, which is super nice, right? But is this possible with React, or do I have to basically make sub-templates with states for each separate step to keep this reactive all the way? Or is it possible to have this kind of deep drilling reactivity with React? How does it work? Do you have any experience?
So that's really depends. There are, like with everything in programming, there are multiple approaches how you can do this. The thing is, Blaze and React have different philosophies, so
I know.
you can use the same approach. So I would.
Yeah, that's why I love
Blaze.
so
Plus,
much.
there is. I'm not, exactly the expert on that. And there's still ongoing, improvements in React on the reactivity and all the different, rendering, re-rendering, optimizations. So I won't even pretend I understand half of it. I understand enough to make good looking and working applications, and that's good for me. So all those details, usually what I do in this case is I have a specific, in this case, templates or components that handle one particular thing, and then it's managing on what makes that component reactive or reacted. Based on that, that's applied. So the idea in React is to kind of have as smaller components that do one specific things as possible. Because if you have, and this is back in the days when I migrated, if you find some of the old React in my app, you will see that kind of migrated like from Blaze templates to React components, and sometimes it's like an entire freaking page. So that's the wrong approach. So in React, it's a
I know, but the problem
approach.
is if you build the other way around, right? And now to convert it, it's basically you have to start from scratch, right? I think, and that's why my question: if there's any, what's it called? The state management things in React. You have this different dynamos there. What is it called? You know what I mean? State manager.
Yes. Yeah. Well, you have states, so you have state, context.
But then you have like Flux and Redux and Supermax.
Yeah, that's the benefit of using with Meteor. I usually don't see any need for Redux and all those things, because that's where Minimongo comes in. So, but I will have to that's all I can say to this, because then it gets getting too much off topic. So I would like to if anybody else has any question related to Meteor Community Packages specifically.
I'm going to have a look into recall. Thank you, Ming Nguyen. I don't know how to spell it. I'm sorry. How to say it?
So if you have any question or comments that you would like to ask, now is the time. You can use the raise hand function in in Zoom, or or even if you are typing, just use the raise the hand function watching the participant app, so I will notice. And if not, then with that, I will have to finish the meeting here tonight. So thank you everybody for joining. Please watch the forums as we kind of get towards the end of the month. I will be announcing there how these meetings will be progressed, because as I said, we will be changing it to our own website. So we'll be probably having like some migration periods. We'll be meeting at either Google Meets or something like that. We'll have to figure that one out.
Why that happens? Like, why is this closing down?
Yes, Pathable sadly is closing down. That's all I am going to say about this publicly. We have, since we know the people better, so we have a little bit more information. So we're looking at the, how to integrate everything into our new community website. So all of that is, going to take some time. So we'll have to see if we can manage that on time. But either way, expect that it's going to be a bit rough going forward in the few months that we'll have, that we kind of build it up to figure everything out. So last chance to ask any question or bring something up. Going once. Going twice. And with that, okay, it's just Thomas, offering help. So that's for Daniel, Sebastian. So please feel free to reach out to each other. And Thomas, actually, what we'll be doing once we get the initial merging and everything, we'll be releasing with Blaze. We'll be releasing like betas and everything, so you will be able to use specifically updates to those betas via Meteor update, and then typing in the Blaze release, with Blaze add, and will be 3.0 dash beta or something like that. So it will all be available, and will be then soliciting everybody on the forums and telling them how to do that. So you won't have to do much special. All right. So thank you very much, everybody, for joining me tonight, and hopefully we'll have some nice place to meet again next month. And now, if you excuse me, I have some free ramen that I need to get. So thank you very much, and see you all in a month. Goodbye.